Born in the USA is often cited as one of Springsteen's biggest anthems. A real crowd pleaser that never fails to get the audience screaming and singing along. I should know, I was there at Anfield this year when he played it during his encore. Look, it's a great song. It's catchy and raw and loud. He doesn't always play it live too, so that makes it a little bit more special. But I'm getting off track here. There's more to it than the huge anthemic chorus makes us think there is. There's a history behind it. Bruce wrote it from a darkness in his soul during one of his most bleakest and most depressed periods of his life. It's more revealing and harrowing than the patriotic ballad that we were all duped into believing. Hey up all you rock and rollers. Today I'm tackling Bruce Springsteen and his song Born in the USA. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me take you all back to July 1984. He started working on songs for the album Born in the USA in 1981, right after his smash hit album The River. During these 3 years, Bruce's creativity was unmatched. He wrote 90 songs, both with the E Street Band behind him and some solo stripped back tracks. Despite the title track being such a huge hit, it was followed on the album by 11 other huge songs. Just take a look at the album track listing. Dance in the Dark, Glory Days, I'm on Fire. To the more casual fan, the album seems like a greatest hits. But I'm not here to talk about the album today, I'm here to talk about the song Born in the USA. And it's a funny footnote that it was adopted by both presidential candidates in 1984. Take a look at Ronald Reagan speaking about Bruce during his re-election campaign.
America's future rests in 1,000 dreams inside your hearts. It rests in the message of hope in songs of a man so many young Americans admire, New Jersey's own Bruce Springsteen.
He really believes it's about hope for the American people. He kinda missed the point, but that's okay. He's not the only one. Even Trump missed the point nearly 40 years later. Sorry though, I can't find the clip, but I've just seen it on the internet. But seriously, why can nobody just listen to these lyrics? So why does everybody keep missing the mark? It's not about the beauty of being an American. Listen to more than the chorus and that's obvious. It's about a whole lot more than that. Bruce's first major inspiration for the song was an unproduced screenplay by Paul Schrader, best known as the screenwriter of the Scorsese classic Taxi Driver. Born in the USA tries to sum up the emotions that Americans were feeling during the 1980s, the loss of America's industrial prowess, and the disillusionment felt by Vietnam War veterans who returned home thinking, what the hell was I even fighting for? When the war was starting up, Bruce was determined not to be drafted so he can keep playing his music and trying to keep making it as a rock and roll singer. He tried to convince the New York Selective Board that he was gay or tripping on LSD. It didn't matter. He failed the physical anyway due to a motorbike accident that he'd had. He later expressed guilt for this later in life, as he often thought, who went in his place. While on tour for the album The River, he read Ron Kovic's memoir Born on the 4th of July about his experiences in the Vietnam War. You might remember it as a Tom Cruise film. Bruce found the book in a drugstore outside of Phoenix and by sheer coincidence ended up meeting Kovic by the pool of his hotel in Los Angeles several weeks later. They spoke and Springsteen told him about how his memoir had made him feel. Kovic then shortly afterwards connected him with the activist Bobby Miller, who was the co-founder of the Vietnam Veterans of America. You see, they were struggling for funds at the time, and Springsteen actually ended up playing a benefit concert for them in 1981 to help them out. And Muller said that if it was not for Bruce and his early support, the charity would not have survived. When the tour finished, Springsteen returned home and began grappling with his impending fame. It was all about to change for him. The concerts and the tours had been growing steadily bigger and bigger, but after the River album, he really felt it was all about to change in a completely really steep direction. And instead of facing it dead on, he actually took a step back and began writing more stripped back, more acoustic, lo-fi songs that would eventually be released as the Nebraska album. During those days of writing and recording, he was tinkering with a tune he loosely called Vietnam. Some of the early lyrics told the story of a veteran who feels like he really died in Vietnam, and some of the other lyrics included things about like a factory manager telling the young man that he would hire him if he could. Son, if it was up to me, much? So, back to that screenplay. So, laying on the table, untouched, was a screenplay from Paul Schrader called Born in the USA. Bruce swiftly stole the title for his Vietnam song. Schrader wanted Springsteen to star in the film, but it just kind of never came about. The film actually later came out with Michael J. Fox as the lead, and under a new title, Light of Day. So, he recorded a demo of Born in the USA on his 4-track recorder, but it's nothing like the version we eventually got. It's lo-fi and echoey, very much like the songs on the Nebraska record. In April of 1982, Springsteen and the E Street Band arrived in Studio A at the Power Station recording studio to try and breathe some life into some of the Nebraska era songs. On day 2, Bruce sang Born in the USA acoustically for the band. There are a few conflicting accounts about how Born in the USA evolved into the massive sounding anthem that we know today. Well, according to E Street Band keyboardist Roy Bittan, it actually all started when Springsteen first introduced the song by singing a simple 6-note phrase. Bittan grabbed onto that melody and built it into the now iconic central riff. And inspired by the lyrics, he aimed for a Southeast Asian synthesized strange vibe using his Yamaha CS80. He was looking for something haunting, not heroic. The moment Max Weinberg's snare kicked in behind it, the whole thing exploded. Just kind of take a listen. So Weinberg remembers it differently though. He says the song originally had a sparse country feel, but once Springsteen started strumming his guitar in a style similar to the Stones' Street Fighting Man, Weinberg locked in on the drums, and soon the rest of the band joined in on the groove. They were all so tight together. And either way, Springsteen was all in on making Born in the USA a sonic juggernaut. In the studio, engineer Toby Scott pushed Weinberg's drums through a reverb plate, giving the track its unique punch. And it's kind of a twist on the gated reverb sound that Phil Collins made famous earlier that decade. Max might have earned the nickname Mighty Max for his power, but that big thunderous beat got a serious boost from studio wizardry. The version that made the album was actually an early live take, trimmed down slightly to keep it under 5 minutes. Over the years, Springsteen has reimagined the song as more stark and acoustically, but those stripped back versions lack the intense contrast to the original that makes it so famous. So they finished the song at around 3 a.m. and Springsteen went home with drummer Max Weinberg, and the pair couldn't stop listening to the song. We were sat on my deck having freshly squeezed orange juice, and we listened to Born in the USA about 20 times. They both knew that they'd made one of their best ever songs. Springsteen said in his autobiography Born to Run that one of the first people he played the song for was Bobby Muller of the Vietnam Veterans of America. He listened to it for a few moments and a big smile broke out across his face. He was thrilled with the song. So to actually read the lyrics to the song is to understand the brutal portrait of life that Springsteen is portraying. So we'll kick off with verse 2, where we have the lines, jam, so it put a rifle in my hands, sent me off to a foreign land to go and kill the yellow man. I think this verse is probably one of the more controversial parts of the iconic song. So he starts by telling the listener that by getting into a little hometown jam, I'm guessing a bar fight or whatever, the fitting punishment was to send him off to fight in the war. And it's been said as well that during the early 1970s, judges would insist that a young offender either enlist in the army or go to jail. Naturally, this is now illegal. And to go and kill the yellow man, well, I don't think Springsteen has been racist here. I think he's saying that the attitude of the time was racist, the attitude of those who were pushing for the war. I think he's relaying that his commanding officers are the ones that are saying, go and kill the yellow man, not him. Again, he's not painting America in a very good light.
Come back home to the refineries. Our man says, son, if it was up to me. Went down to see my VA man. He said, son, don't you understand now?
Now the veteran has come home and there's no work for him in the local refinery. Son, if it was up to me, I'd hire you, is the excuse that the manager gives our narrator. He then goes down to see the VA man, the Veterans Affair manager, where he says, don't you understand? We can't help you. As the years have gone by, the government was criticised for their inability to help the veterans back on their feet once they returned home from the war.
I had a brother, like a son, fighting off out of Vietnam. We're still there, he's all gone. He had a woman, he looked inside for. I got a picture of him in her arms.
Whether he means his actual brother or his fellow brother in arms, we don't know. However, during the Battle of Khe Sanh, they were brothers. By saying they're still there and that he's all gone is an open admittance that his brother died for nothing. And millions of veterans will no doubt really cling to this line. A lot of soldiers too fell in love with women in Vietnam while they were over there. And now all the narrator has left is the picture.
Down the shadow of the penitentiary, out by the gas fires of the refinery. 10 years burning down the road. Nowhere to run, ain't got nowhere to go.
And the best thing our main character has is working in the refinery. He's lost, helpless, and unable to escape his dead-end future that may never have happened if not for what he witnessed during the war. There's no hope in this song whatsoever. Yet the chorus makes it feel like a rallying cry for every American. How bizarre that it took on a life like it has. Bruce has actually said a few things about this misinterpretation. Born in the USA is misunderstood because the chorus is so powerful. It's almost a liturgical chant. But if you listen to the verses, it's a very angry song. When I played it acoustically, people could hear the words again. Born in the USA isn't just one of Springsteen's biggest songs, it's one of his most powerful. On the surface, it sounds like a stadium-shaking anthem, but beneath that large, huge sound lies a story full of anger and heartbreak. And that contrast is what makes the song so appealing and enduring. It grabs you with its catchy chorus, but it stays with you because of the depth of the verses and the lyrics. And the more that you dig into the lyrics, the more you realise how much Springsteen is saying and how much he's trying to say. 40 years on, the song hasn't faded. If anything, it's only grown more relevant. And with that song and that album, Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band didn't just fill arenas, they earned a permanent place in American culture. And for that alone, we should be grateful. Long live Bruce Springsteen. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Hope you really appreciate this one. Love Bruce Springsteen. Huge fan. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. Got plenty of videos out there nice for you all to check in. And if you love Rock and Roll Archives, drop a comment, let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next one.